Action is former U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Joe diGenova, also the author of a brand new book. It comes out, I believe, next week or the week after. Jesus is Risen, Paul and the Early Church. It's out, October the 2nd. Available pre-order on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and tomorrow, Hannity.com. Our friend David Limbaugh, by the way, both have done legal work for me because I'm in such legal trouble just about every other day of my life. Seems like I have every lawyer, but... and I've had dinner with both of them. Let's start with you, Joe, and these developments. And I also want you to focus in a little bit on, we do know a grand jury is impaneled. We don't know what's going on there. We don't know what are in the unredacted pages, 10 to 12, 17 to 34. We don't know what's in the 302s. Everybody that I know that knows something or says they do say it's blockbuster.
Well, here's what we do know. We do know from the text revealed by Strzok and Page yesterday that we now are at a different place. The walls are closing in, but they're not closing in on the president. They're closing in on the FBI and the Department of Justice under President Obama. Those text messages by Strzok and Page, which reveal an illegal media strategy to illegally and criminally release FISA warrant information and name a U.S. citizen whose information they gave to the New York Times is a criminal offense. And by mentioning Carter Page, they have now created massive civil liability for everybody involved in revealing Carter Page's name, including themselves, James Baker, the former FBI general counsel, Prize Step, everybody in the chain of command. In addition, the reporters for the New York Times have no privileges now. They also can be sued by Carter Page because although they may have been legally able to accept information, by publishing it, they revealed classified information that smeared Carter Page. Mr. Page is going to be a very wealthy man.
I kind of agree with you, actually, by the end of all this. With the McCabe, we know that the grand jury has been seated. We know that they're looking at the lying issues involving McCabe. And
That's correct.
I have different sources that are telling me also they're looking into the FISA abuse issues.
They are.
And if
They are. The problem is we don't know whether it's Huber or the National Security Division at the Justice Department. The best information is that it is the National Security Division at the Justice Department.
But if that's true, wouldn't that mean everybody that signed off on those FISA warrants, in other words, that committed fraud on the FISA courts, that omitted important information purposely?
They're
all in trouble.
And that is why, and I mentioned this the other night, if you go back and look at Rod Rosenstein's testimony, he answered a question in a very strange way. He said, I am relieved that I have been relieved of responsibilities involving that area, that is, FISA. The reason he has been relieved of those duties is that there is a criminal investigation, as you just mentioned, involving McCabe and Strzok and Baker, and nobody knows who is ultimately responsible for all of this.
What about Page and Comey?
Oh, there's no doubt. No, they're all involved. They're going down. You know, I know, and people don't like to hear this. James Comey, Strzok, McCabe, they're all going down on the FISA warrant stuff. That's just not even an open question anymore.
Let me get to David Limbaugh. David, I never thought in my life that, and with everything that we've been breaking, these new texts are a disaster. I mean, you literally have all this criminality, fixing an investigation, using Russia information, disseminating lies before and after the election, top DOJ, FBI, intelligence agencies, CIA, all to help elect one candidate over another, you know, literally propagating false Russian information, feeding it, trying to feed it and funnel it through Bruce Orr into Mueller's office. I can't believe this has happened with some of the people and agencies and institutions that I personally have grown up having the most respect for in my life.
Yeah. Yes. Is it any coincidence that Comey himself leaked on purpose to start a special counsel investigation. And now we have 2 of his top lieutenants who were leaking, who are deliberately leaking in a deliberate media leak strategy. They were flourishing in a Comey leak culture. And can you imagine how ludicrous this is, that the FBI was investigating these people in the supposedly in the periphery of the Trump campaign for alleged collusion with Russia to interfere with our election when they themselves were interfering with our election?
All right, Joe, I heard a little sinister laugh from Joe diGenova when you mentioned Comey. Why is that, Joe?
He's going down. The dirty cop is going to go down.
You haven't been wrong yet. All right, thank you both.